Hi, welcome to the living room. I'm going to read a blog post that I wrote today, and just to warn you, a bit of a heads up, it does describe graphic situations involving pet death and euthanasia, so you may want to pass up this video if you're a bit sensitive to those topics, just so you know. Recently in the social circles where I run, it has been brought up that breeding is not an endeavor for the faint of heart. I want to delve into this because it is certainly worth exploring and discussing. Breeding is not a matter of simply pairing rats, watching females give birth, and cuddling babies. While I often focus a great deal on the positive aspects of my journey, there is a darker side that I talk about less. Warning, I will be discussing death with a degree of graphic description. Firstly, breeding any animal is not to be entered into lightly. It is not simply pairing animals and then selling babies and making money. There is so much more that should go into it, and if you're only in it for the money or the cute factor, I urge you, please reconsider why you are doing this. Many breeders choose to start out by researching genetics and gaining knowledge of husbandry and breeding ethics and practices. Breeders often network with others and have one or more mentors for support and guidance. This is imperative, as doing it alone can leave you not only lost, but uneducated and possibly acting inhumanely and unethically. A good breeder should prioritize ethics and humane practices above all. Next, they should prioritize health, longevity, and temperament, as these are essential factors in ensuring you are promoting the well-being of the animals and their adopters, and promoting the betterment of the species as well as the breeding hobby as it pertains to your chosen species. Learning is ongoing and should never stop, as standards are always changing and evolving as our knowledge of animals and their care grows. What was done 20, 10, or even 5 years ago may no longer be acceptable in present times due to updated scientific knowledge and experience. Just because a breeder has had a long career does not mean they are ethical, humane, or knowledgeable, and it is important to understand this. Breeders can face challenges with their animals that they need to be prepared to deal with practically as well as emotionally. Culling and euthanasia are aspects of breeding we deal with regularly, and we need to be able to look at these situations that cause us to face it with logic, a clinical attitude, and reason, not simply our feelings. Compartmentalization can be a key skill in this. We need to set aside our own feelings and maintain the best interest of the animals we are working with, even if that involves making the difficult decision to euthanize them. While losing an animal is full of heartache and grief, sometimes it is the right decision, and we have to be able to make that call. Because some breeders use a CO2 chamber or cervical dislocation as AVMA-approved methods of euthanasia, we are often the bringers of death itself. We cannot waver, as this may result in an error in practice and an inhumane death, which would be the utmost failure to the animals involved. Pet rat breeders are often pet owners first. This means that they view their rats as members of their family and not simply breeding stock. We love each animal deeply and often develop bonds with our pets, the same as owners in pet homes. If you are not of the right mindset, this can cloud judgment. A rat should not simply be bred because you love them or they are your favorite. Do they meet the standard for temperament and general health? Are they healthy? Are they genetically stable? And do they possess no genetic defect or physical faults? If they have defects, are these aspects that can be improved, or will they contribute to the detriment of rats if bred? Are they the right weight and physical structure? Are they of an appropriate age to be bred? Have they been bred previously, and if so, have you allowed them to recover adequately and wean their offspring? Do they get along well with humans and other rats? Do they have a personality or disposition that should be passed on? Do they bite? Is the line they descended from of good quality, and are there issues that should prevent you from sending them out as pets or breeders? Have they experienced complications in birthing? Are they aggressive, be it hormonal, maternal, territorial, general, or even health-related? Do they have any issues that need to be addressed, or are you prepared if issues that may be recessive present? Do you understand genetics and not simply aesthetics? In my journey, I have faced the need to euthanize multiple rats. As I breed selectively and strive to weed out issues, I have had to euthanize rats who did not meet the standard to be pets or breeders, and would be a detriment to my mischiefs if kept. It is also a matter of quality of life for the individual as well as the whole. If a rat cannot attain good quality of life or is aggressive due to behavior, hormonal, or maternal aggression, I will often choose to euthanize it. I do this via a CO2 chamber in my home, and it is something I rarely discuss due to the many sensitivities of those in the pet community surrounding it. It is not an undertaking I view lightly, and I frequently cry and have sad, quiet days when it must occur. I view it as a very undesirable and unfortunate outcome, and sometimes even a personal failure when I must choose euthanasia for a rat. I have also euthanized rats for complications in birthing when all other measures to assist and support them through it have failed. When you are watching an animal writhe in pain due to a prolapsed uterus and cannot visit a veterinarian in time for life-saving surgical measures, the choice to euthanize must be made and is the most merciful outcome for said animal, no matter how heartbreaking it is. I've had this happen on 2 occasions with dwarves I produced, and it nearly made me choose to never breed dwarves again. The rats in question were my first dwarf females, bred by me. They popped up in a litter, and were both part of my heart, favorites. It was traumatic and heartbreaking to lose them, and I carry scars from the experience. I have stayed up with mothers as they birth and massaged their abdomen to help them pass up to entire litters of stillborn pups, and then grieved the loss of the babies afterward. I have worried for days and even weeks as I anticipate litters, hoping they'll be healthy and alive when they arrive. I have watched mothers resorb or miscarry litters that I'd hung dreams on and grieved for that. I have had to euthanize rats for prolapsed penises that could not be retracted so that they could heal. I have euthanized those with other chronic illness that subtracts from their ability to attain appropriate quality of life, even when they were rats I had wanted to breed, hung hopes, dreams, and expectations on. We must be resilient as breeders to come back from such horrendous outcomes in our breeding career and continue after facing such devastating losses. Each of these experiences and many more have taken pieces of me away, and I must find ways to recover emotionally and remain whole in order to maintain my mental health and continue my journey. So in summary, breeding is not a rainbow dream life. Sometimes it is a painful, grief-stricken nightmare that I don't know how I will return from. You need to be prepared for all of this if you want to breed. Think more than twice. Think long and hard. Do all the research, learning, and networking you can before striking out in this endeavor. Thank you for listening.